I am pressing
And
it.
also,
We are live now.
Oh, you're back as well, yeah.
Traffic blocking.
It's fine.
Yeah.
what are you doing? Covering your bum?
Yeah, you literally walked into the shot that's on screen.
That's why I tried to get a cushion. No, you that one. Your bum was
Yeah, you was in the
on
shot.
that camera.
How does that look? How do we look?
Traffic blocking.
Yeah, no, it looks better. That shit
When?
looks
Really
better.
excited about that.
When are
When?
you going?
I'm going to go on Wednesday. I'm really annoyed that I'm not going on Wednesday.
Oh,
When are you
serious?
going though?
I'm going like next week now.
I hate. You know what? I hate that anticipation of a holiday, and if something changes,
Not really a holiday, but it is. 'cause it's
Kevin?
Jamaica.
what are you doing in Jamaica, Femi?
Femi's one has Sade's arm in it.
Oh.
I'm going to shoot soundtrack song.
Can it go in tighter on him?
For a song with Abra.
So it's
I
just
think
not
we
there.
need to go tighter on us as well.
Popcorn.
Popcorn?
Puppy,
Popcorn.
puppy.
Like above
No
your.
one calls it
boy.
popcorn, you know that.
Puppy,
Puppy.
yeah.
No one calls abracadabra.
No,
It's a bit long.
abracadabra.
They call
Abra.
him-
or
Abs.
They call him
abs.
abs. They call him AB.
Mm.
They call him. I call him Abra. They call him Dabby.
Dabby. Okay.
Abracadabra.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like
Dabby
Dabby.
though.
like
That's
Dabby.
different.
I like
Everyone
Dabby.
calls him
Dabra.
farm. That's his broad little farm name.
Yeah.
Dabby.
Dabby.
We're live.
That's it.
Second
And
of
popcorn,
all.
they call him Skull.
Oh.
I don't know what that
I love
means. They call him Skull. That's his real friend's name.
When you're a
Wow,
proper
Femi's like,
virgin.
only I can.
Yeah,
do
no, but
stuff.
genuinely, like all these, I don't call him Skull because I'm like, what does that even mean? So I call him Poppy. But yeah, no one calls any of these people there. They've got other nicknames.
Dabby.
Yeah. What are your nicknames?
Dabby.
My nickname. People call me all names I don't even want to be called. Like, why are you calling me Fems? Allow it. It's Femi.
Oh,
innit?
I've
It's
said
short
Fems,
enough.
to be fair.
People call
Sorry.
me Fems. People
I've
call
said
me.
Fems multiple times.
Um,
Allow
No,
it.
you
one of
don't.
my friends
telling you.
I know.
calls me F.
Yeah, I get that sometimes.
Serious?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like what people call
There's
me.
only so much they can do with Femi. Let's go, Mimi.
No, Mimi, you know, that's funny. My family doesn't actually call me Femi. That's the biggest bans of life.
What's your
name.
proper
That's
name?
not my actual name.
Yeah, it's your
So
whole
like
full-
Femi is my second name. I
Okay.
decided to be called Femi when I realized no one could say Biodun, which is my name.
Say that again?
It's Abiodun, which
Abiodun.
is
Abiodun.
my
I'll say
actual
it.
name. So like only in England am I called. Like if you know me from before the age of 10, I was never called Femi. Only my grandmother called me Femi. She's the person that gave me that name.
I knew you were going to say
Okay.
that. Grandparents do that.
She's like gave me the no, but it was my actual name.
Yeah.
But she was the
She's one
person
of
that
them
gave
that
me
bit.
that name,
Yeah.
and she was the only person that ever called me that name till I moved to England. And then they didn't know how to say my name, and I was like, "Oh, she's like, no, have you heard of Femi?" And they were like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, that's my name. Call me that." And I became Femi by choice in primary school.
Did you start off primary school as Abiodun?
So like, I came to
Sorry, honey.
England when I was 10
Yeah.
in June the 10th, 97.
Oh.
Going back, right? June the 10th, 97. Yeah, I moved to England, and I might have started school the next day or 2 days later or something.
Yeah.
And I went to school, and then no one knew how to say my name. Like I was literally like they were like butchering it, and I was like, "Oh, but have you lot heard of like?" I said to the teacher, "Have you heard of Femi?" And she was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, "Do you want to call me that instead? Because that's my other name."
Oh, wow. Okay.
And she said, "Oh, yeah."
Oh,
and
look at
then-
the maturity in the
And then
discussion.
my
like,
mum,
yes.
I'm sure it didn't go like that. But then no one knew I was called Femi, like
Yeah.
until much later at home.
Oh.
So everyone still called me Biodun. Like my sister doesn't picks up, she's like, Biodun. I had to tell her off today. I said, like, I miss you, man. Like you're like because my sister's become an adult.
Yeah.
And before, when I used to go home, like there's an 8-year gap between us. I remember I moved out of home when I was 18.
Okay.
So when I used to go home, like my sister would just be chatting at me,
Yeah.
excited. Like, and I would go home a lot because I moved out young, right? So I'd go home like for dinner basically every day or every other day. And like, I remember like she used to be like really happy to see me and tell me everything about her life. Like, and like we'll sit in the kitchen and we'll just talk for hours and hours, and then I'll go back to my flat. And when I call her now, she just sounds like sad, like serious. And she's like, you know what? It's adult life, man. Leave me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even I'm like, no, but I miss like You know, like she's like,
the doting sister.
today this Biodo. So what are you gonna hit me with now? And really, my mum rarely refers to me as my name anymore. She's like one of the few people I speak to like on a weekly basis that calls me Biodo. When she says it, so
Oh,
Biodo.
big at your sister.
What do you want?
She big at your sister. She DJ'd for us at Soulfest.
Did she?
Yeah,
man. She
big
could do her
things.
thing, man. She's like she's doing her thing.
Yeah,
She
man.
never used to tell people she was my sister. I don't know why. I'm like a lit brother to have.
She wanted to make it on her own, exactly. She wanted to be your
Like-
shadow.
Yeah, she probably wants to carve out her own
I've had
way.
people are like, oh my gosh, you two. I've known her for like 10 years, and I've known you for like whatever. I'm like, yeah. They like, she your real sister. I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
You know, sometimes black people be like, that's my sis.
Yeah. These are all my sisters.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys, I think we're
Yes.
ready to go.
You
Well,
live.
We are
we've been
live.
That was live.
We have been live.
I thought that was.
You thought it was
Well, I
warming
literally
up.
said it. I said it before, so you got the warning. It was live.
I
We
just
are live.
spoke about my name, yeah.
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 It was only from that part. Welcome to Your Auntie's Could Never. I'm Auntie AK, and I'm here with
Auntie Farah.
Nana.
Sade.
and our fave,
Femi.
Biodo.
Biodo.
Welcome. Thanks for coming.
I've just never heard that name before as
No,
well.
Biodo. It's a common name.
It is
like-
common.
Yeah.
Abiodun,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, Biodo is a
Mhm.
common name because it means born into festivity. So like if you're born during like I'm New Year's Eve. So
Yeah.
like Christmas, New Year's Eve,
Okay.
Easter, like Eid.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
That's cool.
so it's like a Sunday name. It's like a Monday,
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday type name.
Okay. So in Nigeria, there'd be bare people that have it as well.
There'll be bare but in Yoruba culture, there'll
Yeah.
be loads of Biodo.
It's
Okay.
unisex.
Yeah.
Unisex.
Oh, okay. Oh,
And
so
that's where you
properly
get
like
Abby
Nana.
sometimes. I could have been Abby,
Like,
right?
no,
Yeah.
it's everybody's name.
Yeah.
Nana
Nana.
is a lot of people's names.
Yeah,
Everyone.
everyone. Femi, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, you know. I feel good.
What's happening? What's
I've
been popping?
slept. I've actually slept, which is great because I've not been sleeping for a long time. Because obviously we've been trying to lead up to the release of Trapping, and then when it's like you're pregnant, and then when you
Is it?
yeah, I've never been pregnant.
Thank you.
But I was gonna say it's like being pregnant, and then you give birth to this child, and the anticipation is over, and you're just a bit like more free to feel a bit more relaxed. I obviously don't know what.
I mean,
like,
please, it's not like
give birth.
pregnancy.
But I've been part of the process of children being made.
Yeah.
we would think so.
So I know, I kind of feel like I know
Okay.
what it might be like. But
Tell-
yeah. And then I've been making another show. I'm still pregnant with another baby.
Wow.
So, like,
Oh.
Tell us about Trapping and the drop, please. Go on into it.
so I feel bad because I've got chewing gum. So I'm gonna take it out.
Look at it. Look at this.
It's like not going well. This is very bad. Sorry guys.
And it's live.
This is live as
The
well.
hygiene.
This is why you don't do live things.
They don't work with children and
Live
pets.
TV.
Yeah, children and
But
pets.
yeah, so Trapping came to me in 2019. Trapping is about county lines. It was a script that it was a film that I wasn't trying to make. Like, I'll be honest. I was like, I think 2018 we made The Intent. Like that did really well for us. Like, you know, it really put us. I feel like people like really got behind that. And I feel like it was a difficult time for us. It was the worst of time. It was the best of time. Like, my business partner, Victor, died around that time. And so like he died during the edit process. So I don't even think like we were able to, like we were grieving as we were going through all of that process. It was like the best year, but the worst year. Like, ever.
Yeah.
And then I remember like I traveled a lot that year as well. I remember it got to a point where I did one trip in maybe October that year, September, October that year, and I was like, I'm so tired. I don't even want to catch a plane again for a long time, like because I was just spending so much time flying around everywhere.
Yeah.
And so what happened was I wrote a script called Napa, and we were supposed to meet.
Yes, sir.
And so then for the rest of the year, I just didn't meet anyone. I didn't do anything. I just like I can generally write scripts when I'm like that, when I say, because I normally like when I want to bang something out, I just say, oh, I'm not around for meetings.
Yeah.
And people are
And
like,
then
what do
you'll
you
do
mean?
it
I'm
all.
like, I'm just not around. Like, you know, I'm writing.
Yeah.
And so I don't meet anyone for about 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. And so I was writing this script for 4 or 5 weeks and banged it out, got a deal with Universal Pictures, and it wasn't the best deal. And so we hesitated in signing the deal. I wanted to do the deal because I'm like, oh, it's Universal, whatever. Might not make no money, but whatever. Like, this is how a lot of these deals go. Like, I'm like, I might not make no money, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
People, I've never actually had a studio film. Like, you know, I've always, every film that I've made it independently. We've raised the money. Like, we've done everything. Like, you know, we've gone to a record label. We've always like hustled to get our films made. And so I'm like, this is a time for us to make a studio film.
Yeah.
Like, we get a studio, they'll put marketing behind it. It's just easier. You
Yeah.
just,
Soft
you
life.
just take the glory of like having released a film. Whereas like the way I make films now,
It's hard,
it's
isn't
quite
it?
stressful.
Yeah.
And so I was like, let's do that. We had this deal. Nikki was hesitant to sign it. Our lawyer didn't want us to sign it. Anyway, we drag our feet. The pandemic just happened.
Oh.
Right.
And so during that period, I read this script. I'm like, oh, this is a sick script. No, I don't read it till pandemic. So I remember as pandemic happens, and then the Universal thing's up in the air. We're still talking to them about it, but it's our lawyer's still dragging it out. Our lawyer fights for deals like it's his deal.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good.
that's what you want,
That's a
though,
good
isn't it?
lawyer.
Yeah.
I'll be like, bro, no, I just want to do the deal. I'm the client. I'm in charge. I understand law, you know.
Yeah,
I'm not like other people. It's not like I know when I'm being bumped.
Yeah.
Like I know like when this deal's gonna
Yeah.
bump me. He's like, this deal's gonna bump you. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like I just want to do the deal. You know what I mean? And so like I know it's not like, oh, you know, there's other black boys. If you ever see me crying on TV saying I signed a bad deal, I knew.
You like, okay.
I'm pretending like, oh yeah, they bumped me, but like I really knew it was a bad deal. But he was like, no, I'm not signed. Nikki's like, nah, we shouldn't do this deal. I'm like, bro, like let's just make the film. Like we just want to be on the road. Let's keep making films. Anyway, what happens? I read this script. We shoot a DWE video during the pandemic for Against All Odds. Remember, we put out that short film. We shoot a video which is like in space, and one of Nikki's friends brings down like a police car and a bunch of other things. And he's like, oh, I've got loads of things in Margate. Like, you know, like I've got like access. Like, if you guys ever want to film in Margate. And then weirdly enough, DWE comes to me and he's like, I've got another tune with Skepta. We want to shoot a video, but I want to do like a helicopter chase.
Okay.
I'm like, bro, I can't. Like, but he's like, no, I believe you guys could do it. So then I sit down and write this treatment. Like me and Nikki are going back and forth, write this treatment. I said to Nikki, remember that your brethren in Margate, yeah, that says he's got all these things. Does he really have all these things? So then we go to Margate, big up Neil, like the guy that hooked us up in Margate. So we go to Margate and we kind of shoot this video that has got mad action, like it's got a police chase and his thing and that thing.
Did you get the helicopter?
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't get the helicopter, but what I did was I did an aerial shot that looked like
Okay.
the helicopter was chasing.
Okay.
That's all right. That's all right. I like that. I like that.
So like, I had the little thing on them, like as like lights. I did it with the lights, basically. But yeah, anyway. So then we do like loads of like little bits and bobs, like, and we shoot this video with Skepta and DWE, and I was like, oh right, this guy really does have bare stuff. Like, you know, we've got loads of access here. And then I read this script, and I'm like, I might have read it 2019 or 2020. I'm not sure when I read it. I remember reading it. I'm thinking, this is mad. Like, it's a bit grim. It's a bit disgusting. I've never read a script like this before, but I think it should get made. But this is not what I'm trying to make right now. So, and then I call Nikki. Nikki's like, nah, I thought we weren't making, because our thing is, our next street crime thing is the intent free.
Okay.
I just want to do that intent free and cut, like, and just leave it to other people. Like, you can do the roadman thing. Like, like, that's always been my plan. Intent free and done. And so I read this and I'm like, oh, but we can easily make this.
Okay.
Because we've got Margate on, like, we can just go to Margate and just do this whole film. And we're in the pandemic and we don't really have, we can't make Napa.
Yeah.
And we've got, I can't remember whatever script we had. We wanted to make our thing, we wanted to do, all our other ideas were TV series.
Okay.
And so we had all these TV series idea, we had Napa, and we had this script. I was like, Slim, we should just do it. Like Slim wasn't, to be fair to him, he just wasn't really on it. He was
Slim
just,
is Nikki, guys.
yeah, sorry, I call him Slim.
Yeah.
Like we had a meeting with some corporates once. They were like, "Why do you call him Slim?" I was like, he used to like drink ting, and he was slim, and
Is that where that came
That's
from?
where
I
it
knew the
came
slim
from,
part, but I
because
didn't
he
know the
liked
ting
ting.
part.
He used
Oh
to like
wow,
ting. He went
That's
to Jamaica.
nuts.
Ting.
slim ting. Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense. I
Yeah.
thought it was because of the slim ting.
Exactly.
That's what I thought. I didn't know the drink was a
No,
I
no,
get
the
it
drink
just
was
being
involved.
slim.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was involved.
But
So-
calling him Slim Ting as a guy, that's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
I mean, like Jamaicans would say
Slim ting.
that's a Y. Like they'll say.
Oh
that's a
yeah,
Y.
you lot and your wives.
Yeah, they'll say that's a Y.
Yeah.
People will be like, why for that?
yeah.
Anyway, but besides that,
You lot went for a stage on Cut the Chat saying why for that.
no, I taught them and they just didn't let it go.
Yeah.
I like that.
No,
They
it's
just let
good.
go.
But it was funny, but it was just like you
Like,
lot.
it's like,
There's a why
rinsed
for that
it.
like pause.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a Jamaican
Oh.
pause.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Right,
like
right,
it.
right.
Okay.
Jamaican, like a fire for that sometimes. as well. They do.
Okay.
I mean, that's
Well, how
edgy.
is this? But anyway, we made this film, like, we decided to make this film in the pandemic. We made this film, like, it was written by Dylan and Penny, and like I just read it and I was just like, you know what, this is like, it's got to get made, and we just decided to make it, basically. And I've raised money independently, like, again. We put some of our own money. We were kind of rich them times. Like,
Wow.
I persuaded Nikki to invest some company money into it.
Mm.
And then we just made it. And like, you know what? To be fair, like Margate was lovely to film in, and the pandemic made it easier. Like we put everyone up in this house. Like, we got this massive house, like in the middle of like Margate, and like we filmed in it a little bit as well. And it's actually in a film. It's the rich family's house. Like, all the
Okay,
people
okay,
there.
okay.
So like we just got this huge house, and it was sick, man. It was a good experience to film out there. It was cold. It was uncomfortable.
Margate.
It's
Sounds
good.
like Margate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It sounds like, it's good that you've kind of given the backstory to doing it, because I guess people would be like, why are you doing another kind of road affiliated film, road themed
You
film?
know what? I think I would make road films till I die. Yeah,
Oh,
if I get the opportunity to make loads of other things, I feel like
yeah.
I feel like I've actually earned the right to have another road film in like 6 years. Like I feel because I like these films. You see, growing
It's
up,
true.
I like Juice.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
Belly.
Menace.
Yeah.
I like all these films. This is what's mad. Yeah? Everyone's like, it's the generation I grew up in. See, the generation after me, they're gonna make, I don't know, man. Like, what's Mean Girls? Like,
Yeah.
maybe they're gonna make Mean Girls because that was what was lit for them.
Yeah.
What was lit for me when I was growing up, like, was like Juice, Belly,
Yeah.
Into
Yeah.
Deep, like Paper Soldiers, like these random. Like,
Yeah.
I got the hookup.
Yeah,
Master
no,
Blaze.
yeah.
About it, about it.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, I'm not. When people are like, why are you making these films? I'm like, do you understand like what we thought was lit when I was in year 7, year 8, year 9? This is why I make these films, because a part of me gets why people don't want to see this film.
Yeah.
Mm.
But a part of me also likes American types of these films. But to be fair, none of these films are like trapping. Trapping's like
I was about to say,
properly like it's
grim.
It's grim, man. It's like I couldn't make trapping like, as a director. Like, do you know what I mean? We
Okay.
produced it, but
Yeah.
I couldn't.
yeah.
I wouldn't make trapping. It would be more exciting. Because my films, I like excitement. I like
Yeah.
there needs to be fast cut. There needs to
Yeah,
be a
chase.
montage. There needs to be a chase, or like it'll be like trapping is like you're just in this world.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched it? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah.
I think I found it dark,
Yeah.
but it resonated, especially like the lead being mixed race. And I've spoken about my nephew going through his county lines journey as well. And it gave me like an insight because he doesn't really talk about it properly, like still, because of the trauma. So watching it, I was like, oh my God, this hurts in a way. I would love for it to be shown in schools, but there needs to be like a guidance with it as well. I love that it's not glamorous at all. It literally is the name, like you are trapped. And that's what we've learned. It's like you don't come out of it very easily, if at all. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's kind of like I remember what everyone would feel when they watched it is what I felt when I read it. I was like, because I've got a very visual brain, so I could just see the whole film
Yeah.
in my head. And I was like, this is mad. Like how the kid is just on this journey and there's no respite.
Yeah.
He's just trapped.
Yeah.
And the way it starts, it's almost like fun and games.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let me do this, and then before you know it, you're just spiraling out of control.
That's it, exactly.
And then even when you start, you're sort of like, there's one scene, he's like, it doesn't even give away the film. There's one bit, he's like, oh, the girl, he likes this girl, and she says to him, oh, my dad says you're a drug dealer. He's like, yeah, 4 bills a week. Like, he loves it.
Yeah.
He loves it. And I remember being that young, like, and like, you know, I used to sell CDs and chocolates in school, yeah, and I used to make 4 or 5 bills a week. I thought I was the littest person in the world. And I remember going to college and being disappointed because there was no hustle. I had no hustle. And like, it's good I didn't go into the hard drugs or none of that. Like, I was so sad because there was no hustle for me. But the point is, I remember like I'd seen that scene and the way he delivers that line, like, and how excited he is to be in it. And then the way it just spirals out of control.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, the way almost class comes into play, the fact that the middle class kid, like, it's just like, I mean, things go bad for him, but he just goes home.
Yeah.
And can just go home
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Because again, like with road people, yeah, the way the film's just very real. That's what makes it different for me. Like, I feel like, in a way, out of all the road films, this is like the least glamorous, least exciting one. Like, you don't watch it and you think, oh, that's... I could imagine watching the Intent and thinking, oh my gosh, that's lit. They just robbed a shop, but they got bare chains and a car.
Yeah.
They've just got girls. Oh, this girl's just stripping for them now. Amazing. I want to be that guy. Like, I could, if I'm being perfectly honest, like, you know, looking at like the way we made the Intent and the way, like, you know, there's different characters' journeys are portrayed. I could imagine being a kid and just thinking, Scorcher's character's a bad man.
Yeah.
But I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
So rude boy.
Yeah.
And look at him, he's got a penthouse now, and everything about it does all of that. Like, where it's like fast money, fast life, fast girls, fast cars. Whereas this film doesn't even get to that. It doesn't allow you to breathe and doesn't allow you to get to that stage.
And that's through all the characters, right? Like, so everything, without giving too much away, every single character in there is trapped. All of them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there's no so you can see what your next move is, but there's a problem. There's a every single layer, every single cycle.
It's really, and that's what resonated with me. That's why I felt I had to get made.
And then you took it to Parliament.
Yeah, it was important. I think what happened was, like, when we were putting together, like, sort of how we're gonna roll out the film, like, again, like, everyone just let me do my thing. I remember, like, talking to Nikki about all the different ideas, like talking to the team, like the wider team, about the different ideas, Penny, Dylan, all of them. Like, I remember just telling them, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I had a few other ideas that I've not been able to do. Like, I think we should do this, and blah, blah, blah. And then I was talking to someone that I knew that ran this organization called Enact Equality, Lamaya. And I was gone to her, oh, I've got this film called Trapping. And she was like, oh, let me watch it. Like, I might be able to do something, like, in Parliament. Like, I work with, like, Diane Abbott and all these other MPs. Like, you know, maybe, like, I can get one of them to, like, do something around it, because, like, some of the issues that you say it's about.
Yeah.
I was like, are you sure? I was like, it's not
It's not pretty.
it's not like... She's like, no, just let me watch it and then I'll see what I can do. And then she was like, oh, would you be up for, like, coming into Parliament, and, like, you know, we'd like to host you and do an event and, like, just make space for all the issues to be discussed and, like, you know, presented to politicians and so on and so forth. And I remember, like, saying, yeah, I'll be up for it. She's like, oh, do you think Abracadabra would come? I'm like, yeah, that's my little bro, man. He's like, if I say, like, we'll go in Parliament, you might not want to do it, but
we're going,
innit?
innit?
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, if I say, like, but if he says we're going here, like, I'm like, all right, cool. Is it pattern? Like, we're going. Like, it's family. Like, you know, that's how we got it. Like, so I was like, you know what? Whatever he says, like, you know, goes. Whatever I say goes. So, like, vice versa. So if I say to him, we're going, she's like, are you sure he's going to come? I'm like, listen, he's going to pull up. Like, I remember I called him. I was like, this is the plan. I need you here on this day. I need you here on this week. I had to run through it a few times. Like, you know, like, here on this day, this day. He's like, but what's the Parliament thing though? Like, what are we gonna be doing? Like, it was all a bit. I think for me, it was almost as special taking the issues to Parliament as also taking Abra to Parliament.
Yeah.
And, like, taking Abra to Margate, taking Abra showing him all these different things
Mm.
that showed that there's no limit to where you can go. Like, like for me, like if it was up to me, like we've got a few films in America, I'll take him to do that because I just think it's important for him to realize that there's no limit to how big a star he is.
Yeah.
And because when you're from like Tottenham or you're from Broadwater Farm or whatever, like sometimes you become so caught up in that.
Yeah.
That
World
you
seems quite small.
Yeah, that you realize that you don't realize how much of a huge star you are. And so so that was important. The Parliament movie was important for us because we just didn't want to like present the issues. So like there were so many organizations in the room that work actively with young people and like that are now collaborating with each other. There was a funder in the room that was like, take my business card and like, you know, I'm willing to do like funding for all these organizations that were in there. And I can talk to you about how you can put in funding. And there was just, it was, for me, like I'm about facilitating conversations within my production company, Fan Studios, Femi and Nikki Studios, is
it's straightforward. We get that one.
It's the fact that he had to say it.
I think it's funny. Like my production company, Fan Studios, the aim is to facilitate dialogue for our content within like the diaspora and like, but initially and foremostly within Black British people and what that looks like. And so for me, that making trapping is part of that conversation. Even though it's an uncomfortable conversation, we still need to have it. Like, just like we want to celebrate the evolution of Black British music, or like we want to do drunk history, or like we want to do like, these are all shows that we've made. These are all things that we made. But actually, I remember having an argument with Cecilia Dean about, she didn't want to put trapping. She didn't want us to include trapping in our bio that went out with the evolution of Black British music. Me and I had a back and forth. Like me, Cecilia, and Nikki have a group chat. And so like sometimes we go at each other. So like we had a back and forth in a group chat because she was like, oh, like we've had enough of this narrative. Like I don't want you to. I'm like, yeah, but it's our film. You can't tell me what our bio says. And also, we can't be scared as Black British people to have these conversations just because like our family's been through it, or like, you know, like you could, imagine you're like, oh, you know, my nephew's been through it, he's mixed race, and like this kid's mixed race, it's triggering. I don't think that film should get made. But then how do people become informed about that lifestyle? So that was really important to me that, you know, we facilitate conversations, even uncomfortable ones.
Agreed. On that note, we got to move on to
the drop.
Yes, I was going to come back to the end. Sorry if I.
Trapping is available on the drop.movie, and the aim of the drop is to create a platform. It's a simple platform. We create a transactional platform for content that speaks to Black British culture and youth culture. So Trapping is the first piece of content to go on there. We've got a film called Staycation that will be going on there. That's the next movie that is going on there, which is about. It's like them like rom-coms. Like,
I love it.
And they're on a staycation.
Black rom-coms. They're on a staycation. They're like them, you know, so like, you know, young Black people in their 30s on like rom-com staycation vibe. So that should be fun. And then like we've got a bunch of other films, and eventually we're gonna be like acquiring other people's films to put on a platform as well. And like, so from next year we'll be rolling out content every quarter. From the year after that, the aim is to roll out content every month.
So Aunties in Vegas, the film.
Oh, that might be lit.
Yeah, not might be. Not might be. It will be.
Might
You know why I always say might? Because I've been brought up in this Britain, and you can't be too enthusiastic about anything.
No, with us
come
you
on,
can
you
be.
can, you
We've got
can.
Aunties in
Crush
Vegas,
your
Girls
dreams.
Trip, the UK version of
That's
Girls Trip.
fire. But I've got a film like that already.
Yeah, but not with us.
No, but I've got another film
Femi, you want us to go back and forth?
with Uncle Driss.
Is it?
Got a film.
You know, you need to just have us in one of your films.
We
No,
need-
I've got like, the thing is,
I'm sure there's space for us.
There's always
No,
space for
there's
us.
always space. I've got so many films, that I just wish like I had a pot of gold that I could just go to and make all these films.
Yeah.
And then everyone could just get off my back about like, what I should. 'Cause people come up to me, they're like, "Have you ever thought about?"
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Standard. But all I'm just saying,
Give me a new
you
idea.
didn't think about Aunties in Vegas, and I've just put it in your
I
lap.
think that's lit. I've never even thought about that.
Thank you.
Can I just say, guys, as well, obviously, for those that don't know, I obviously run a event management company, and Femi's company hired us to do the premiere, and it was a really cool experience. Like
And I
working with
enjoyed
you.
working with you lot, you know.
Honestly, like it was really, really cool. Really respect you and Nikki and what you're doing. And yeah, it was really inspiring.
No, can I talk about their company? Like, I just really, so Dana comes up to me and was like, "Oh, do you know what? When you're doing your premieres, like, you should let me do one." I'm like, what? Because no, I came up to her. I was like, I saw you lot in Music Week. I'm like, what you doing? Like, I was like, cover star. Like, I was like, you know me, I was just taking a mic, Nigerian uncle. So I was taking a mic. I was like, she was like, yeah, you should let us do your premiere. I was like, you know what? I've got a premiere coming up, but I don't have bread. I'm doing it. Like, it's independent. Like, it's completely independent. And so, like, obviously you could do it, but it's not gonna be like the Intent 2, which had like Island and Hennessy and all these people backing it. But we'll try to raise, but I'd love you to do it. And then, but I need you to hit me up on this date. And then she hit me up on that date. I was like, oh, this woman's serious.
Yep.
Like, you ready to have a meeting now? And at that point, I still didn't even know what I wanted to do in my head.
Yeah, that's nice.
But then I was like, you know what? This is like, I think I had a deck of the concept. Because I'm very, it's weird, man. I need to, I'm very, like, I have visions in my head.
Yeah.
And also, I almost, like, become so fixated with bringing the vision to life. And I sort of neglect everything, like my health, like my sleeping, my family, everything. Like, I've become so obsessed. And then once that vision comes to life, I move on and like create another vision. And then, and you know, and maybe that's what I've been put here to do,
genius.
right?
Yeah.
And so in a way, like, I remember I wanted to do a premiere that wasn't a premiere, that was a music concert, that was a premiere and wasn't a premiere. It was like, and then I was like, it's an immersive music infused premiere.
Yeah.
Like, I literally made it
all
up.
the criteria.
And then I had a call with everyone on the team. I was like, we're not gonna do a real premiere. And this is why I love Slim, and I love, like, me and Slim have a good relationship because we both he has mad ideas as well. And I'm just like, you're mad. Like, how are we gonna do that? And sometimes I'm the one trying to be like,
rein it in.
like, and it's the other way around. So like, we both just go with it. It's like, if that's what you really want to do, like, it's a bit random, but I back it.
Let's do it.
He's like, yeah, I'm bringing Dame Dash to England. I'm like,
Okay.
That was nice.
how are we gonna do it?
Yeah.
And then I sort of backed it and like figured out a way to help make it happen. And so like, that's all we're constantly doing for each other. And I think it's really special what we have in that respect is that you have someone that supports your idea. And then when I met these guys, like, they just like, you know, sort of got the idea, they elevated it. Like, I was like, oh, it's like, you know, what we want to do this. Like, they didn't say no. They were trying to figure out ways to make it happen. And also like just to enhance the idea, like, you know, like even like just like the trainers floating in the air, and like, you know, getting actors in the installation and all of that stuff. There were certain things that I'm just like, no, but I don't know, why do we want to do trainers? And she's like, Femi, we got the trainers. I'm like, but why? Like, oh, Femi, where's the actors? The day before, you know, I'm like, you know what? Let me just do the actors now. And I just put one guy. We got because it's like, there's just like, you know, I love when people like take your concept and elevate it to another level. Yeah. And like, those are the people that I love to be around me and my ideas and my team. And that's what like Pepper done.
I was about to say the name, the name.
Yeah. No, that's what they've done. That's what they've done for us. That's what Sade, like Beverly, and Dana did, like, you know, with the premiere. Like, Wicked. They sort of took it and helped us to make it happen and elevate it to another level. And so, yeah, you should use them for all your events.
That's the soundbite right there.
Thank you
one.
so much,
Advert
man.
and a half for you.
Innit?
No, I appreciate you. You might have to do it again.
We'll do a joint post.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, do that.
I love it.
Use the camera. All right, guys, let's get into what we heard on these social media news streets. First up, Peckham Hair Shop. It's been a lot going on in Peckham. Solidarity, violence, accountability, lots of discussion. Anyone want to take it, or I'll take it? You can take it. Want to take it?
Go on.
Okay, fine. All right, so basically, recently, I don't even know what date it happened. About 2 weeks now.
No, it was
No,
last
last
week.
week.
It was actually last week, Monday.
Yeah, last week.
Because it happened during the fire alarm.
Yes.
Well, it went to
Oh gosh,
it
shall
went
we-
in. It was last week.
viral during the fire
Yeah.
alarm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so basically, there's a video that went viral of a South Asian shopkeeper in Peckham manhandling a black woman customer. With at one point, his hands were around her neck, and it looking like he was choking her. So notably, Giggs put it on his Instagram. That's where I first saw it, to question why this was happening to one of our Black queens. And responses, as you probably can predict, some were in solidarity and outrage. Others were like, well, what did she do to get to cause this situation? So there's been lots of debate, lots of conversations. There's been protests outside the shop. The shop is still currently shut as we speak. More videos have surfaced showing the bigger picture of the story. And it seems like the young lady went into the shop to get a refund. The shop has a no refund policy. So in her, allegedly, it looks like to counter that situation, she went and picked up her own products to compensate for what she lost. And then in her process of trying to leave the shop, the shopkeeper then got aggressive with her. She tried to defend herself. And there's a back and forth, and there's interpretations of how the video has been interpreted by a lot of people, and whether or not she was in the wrong, he was in the wrong, and all this type of stuff. He's spoken to press apologizing, but also saying he didn't mean to choke her. Blah, 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 blah.
Choke her.
He said he didn't choke her. Then he was like, I didn't, it was impulse, whatever. She hasn't spoken. We haven't heard from her. She was arrested and released on bail. He was spoken to by the police and hasn't had any charges at the moment. So I guess the conversation is, what's your thoughts? Did you see it? What were your opinions about the whole thing?
I'll say what pissed me off the most was the opportunist right-wing Asian media taking this, trying to say that Black folks were trying to use the race card and spinning it like this has nothing to do with race, taking away the context of it's Southeast Asians that are selling our hair products to us, how we get treated. All of that was negated to how is this about race? And basically it's a man who is trying to look after his shop and, you know, had to protect his stock, and it just happens to be a Black woman. I hated that narrative and was seeming to be affirmed by quite a few Black men as well. Again, there just seems to be, if something happens to a Black woman, I don't know why, there is a large contingency online of Black men that will instantly be like, there's something wrong with that woman.
And she was in the wrong.
Always. And it's just like, that's disgusting.
Well, Black men said that.
Yeah, lots. There were lots of comments.
Yeah.
Lots of comments.
I think that's wild. I think, like, having watched the video, I was devastated because it's actually I hate the way the Black body is still policed by other people. I like, if that was a white woman, that man would have never done that. If it was an Asian woman, that man would have never done that. Never have done that. But like with Black people, there's some weird sort of perception that Black people need to be policed or almost treated like animals.
Yes.
And because the way it was manhandling that woman was like just not normal. I couldn't believe it. And I saw an interview with him. It was very calm and collected, and like, you know, almost like for me, unapologetic for what he did. And it was kind of sad, really, that he was given this platform and allowed to speak in that way. And also, there were two things that struck me. The first thing, like, they were like, oh yeah, it's against the store's policy to do returns. There must be a consumer act against that.
They're actually being investigated.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
How could you not return something in any shop in England?
They're being investigated.
This is not another country. Like, you know, like in England,
I know that is illegal.
But that's the thing. But a lot of those shops, I find, have that policy.
No, that is illegal. That is illegal.
Yes.
Like in England, it's illegal. I don't know where they make up these rules. And then on top of that, he said like, oh, this woman raised her hand on me, and that's why I had to restrain her. That was more than restraint, man. He was like dragging her around.
Now, back to that bit, because this has been the thing that people are saying, like, oh, two wrongs don't make a right. If you watch even the CCTV footage of when the first altercation happened between them, he raised his hand first. She picked up the hair, or she had the hair, or whatever it was she had in her hand, and he shoved her like that. At that point is when she was like, because he shoved her in a way, like around her face. That's where he shoved her. Now, if you shove me, I'm going to do something to you because you've attacked me. So what she does next when she picks up the basket, that then is self-defense straight away.
What's mad?
She didn't
I don't
touch
even
him
like
first.
people touching me.
Exactly.
Thank you.
You know, like when people that I don't know touch me, I look at them like, you have to know me.
Yeah.
Crazy.
People that I don't know, like literally, when, like, even if they brush me, like,
Yeah.
because I don't know you, like,
Yes,
why are we doing contact? And so for me, I just felt it's sad, man. I mean, we could talk about Asian people running Black women's hair shops till it will turn. I feel like since I've lived in England, I've been hearing this debate. And so I I don't go to them shops to buy hair products, so I don't even want to get into. I can't even really have a valid opinion about it. It's about pricing, it's about this, it's about monopolies and blah blah blah. But what we can have a conversation about that is the fact that in 2023, like someone thinks it's okay to do that to a black woman, and also there's no criminal proceeding against this man, even though he properly handled Auntie.
choked her.
And the fact that she's released on
The
bail.
fact that she was arrested and
Yeah.
released
Yeah.
on bail,
Madness.
the fact that, you
That
know,
was,
even despite that footage, no police officer, no CPS felt it was okay to prosecute this man.
Right.
Yeah.
Shows that, you know what, as black people in England, we've still got a long way to go. And a lot of the times, I think, you know what, elevating or moving, I see my brethren doing big things,
Yeah,
and
and then-
I'm just like, and not just my my famous friends, just my normal friends
Yeah.
in ends, like doing owning stuff and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. And then every so often, I'm reminded that actually we're not there yet.
Yeah, no, not at all. We got a comment come through from Tamara Gel. She says a no refund policy is illegal and he had no right. I hope this actually pushes black people to buy and support black. I doubt it though.
Everyday
I think
Frodo.
yeah, I think it's interesting because, like, yeah, I have a platform called Everyday Friday. We done a blog post maybe in 2020, I think, and I think that was in response to PAX having an issue and being quite triggered by it. So we done a list of black-owned stores, physical stores, and online platforms as well that sell black hair, and that just went viral again.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? So like, I'm grateful that it's there as a resource that's still being used, but at the same time, I'm sad that it's still being used. Do you know what I mean? That it needs to be pop up in these moments and everything. I don't know. I just think, I think we just need to go the extra mile, like close our eyes and spend extra money and just vote with our pounds, really and truly. Like, I think that's what we have to do. We can't spend there at all. Like, it just doesn't, like that shop. No, I don't want to incite violence, but that shop, no one should be going to that shop. I'm just like, the man them in the area need to.
I mean, people do foolishness for no reason all the time.
All the time.
And people are really giving a lot of people a lot of reason to do some stuff.
Yeah.
Again,
Right.
not inciting violence.
At
Just saying,
all,
like,
ever.
you know,
But the fact that we showed up, I'm not quite very proud of the fact people actually showed up and protested and have kept the shop shut. And because not always do we rally round and galvanize ourselves to make a stand. Sometimes we can be apathetic because sometimes it is like, this will never end, and it's hard to motivate yourself to even think that change can be affected. But in this moment, people actually did come together, despite the naysayers, despite those who weren't standing up for her. So I'm quite proud of that there were protesters that actually like stood up and made note.
I think on that Peckham High Street, there's 9, and that's 1. All 9 need to go.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
I'm not against it, to be honest. I think like it's been going on for way too long, and there's very little change, and none of those funds go back into our community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just enough now. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe every generation or every half generation needs to learn this again and again and again until we own it ourselves. Like, you know, and there are companies out there doing it. And you know, having to not necessarily make as much of a margin, or do you know what I mean? Because of the issues that you raised, Femi, like, you know, I just think, we're just gonna have to squeeze, man, and just maybe you need to have a different hairstyle if you can't source it the way you want to source it.
You know
what I
an
mean?
idea. Just come to me, sorry.
No, go.
Before I lose it. You see how people invest, like so many celebrities have a liquor brand.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's the thing, like, it's to have a liquor brand. Would it not make more sense to have a hair brand?
Exactly.
Like, you bring out your whole collection because you already have star power, you already have funds, people will probably like support it, and then we could have new stores that had maybe 15 new celebrity brands in there instead of having off license full of drinks.
Exactly.
It would actually make more sense.
Do you know, at that conversation, I saw it somewhere, and like, why are so many black celebrities endorsing alcohol and things that are not, in quotes, necessarily healthy for us or empowering? Not to get into, because we all like a bit of a
It's
drink.
not even
but
like
it's,
in quote. It is bad for
but
you.
I know, exactly. But I'm just saying, like, not to shit on, you can do what you want, but there is that. Invest in something that we can create legacy and make a dent into monopoly industries that are selling back to us what we need.
I think there are some brands, and not so many UK ones. I think Rocker's a good brand, and I definitely invested in them in one of their rounds. Do you know what I mean? Through like this group thing. But there are brands out there that you can invest in. I think it's just more awareness, like a more access to the information at the time of when that's happening. But I can't lie, I would like to see a Raheem Sterling or you know what I mean, invest in something like he did with Oja. Do you know what I mean? Like that was a power move as far as I'm concerned. Unfortunately, the business, I don't think it's going very well at the moment. But I think it'll be great if there was more opportunities like that with products that serve us.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But like companies like Translate Culture, they prove this model over and over again that Black companies selling products for Black people and spending in the Black community make money in our community. They're like 6 million dollar companies or pounds or whatever, like kind of thing. They're doing very, very well. Like Ava Estelle, Plant Made, like there's loads of companies that has got a whole portfolio of them doing well within our community. So just don't believe the hype. Like honestly, just buy Black.
100. All right. I want to do a quick one. This is quick. Back to school. It's just something that pissed me off. I need to get it out. A girl was sent to isolation in a school in East Yorkshire because her mum bought the cheaper school skirt than the official supplied skirt, and she was sent to isolation because of it. And I find it really, really, really annoying. My child's not in school anymore, but I had to pay big money for her blazer. She went to Greycoats, had to get it from a special store, and it was.
So when your daughter was in Greycoats, didn't she have to go to Peter Jones for a skirt as well?
Yeah. Sorry, the whole uniform. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, the whole uniform.
You know the school that you're going to.
I was going to say that because my daughter's school used to have to go to a specific store to buy the uniform. Maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, the school decided that it wasn't financially viable for the parents. So what they did is they changed it, and now you can get everything. Well, most stuff apart from like the branded cardigans and jumpers and stuff like that, but the rest of the uniform you can get it anywhere. So I think you're right.
I think you need to do that.
Yeah, it was really good that they did that because it's just unaffordable.
And it's not. My thing is that putting the child in isolation to make her singled out and say you're the poor one and you did a poor thing.
But I do understand that though. It's like Nana said, you know the school that you're going to. It's frustrating. I'm not saying that it isn't, but schools do have very strict uniform policies. So if the uniform policy is you got to wear this, you got to wear that.
Yeah, what if you had to fight to get into schools and stuff like that, and then it is like the school in your area, there's no choice and there's no option.
I actually thought it was a terrible example from the parent. Actually,
really?
Yeah, I was like, that's cheating. Everybody else is spending money and buying from this store. Why are you trying to teach your child that she can take shortcuts?
What if you're brass though?
Yeah,
but if you're brass, you can go. Also, if you're brass, you can go to the school
because what second-hand uniform.
Yeah, you can. Every year, the school asks the parents for the previous year to hand in like uniform that they're no longer using. So although like your pride might hurt you in those instances, what's worse is your kid going into isolation because you didn't get the right uniform.
Listen, I sent my son to one of these school uniform, and I gave him money. I said, buy yourself a jumper. This you loses his jumper. If you see a jumper, buy yourself a jumper. The guy came back with a tie. I gave him money again. The next time came back with a tie again. I just gave up. I said,
I just don't like the idea of schools saying like you need this expensive thing to teach morals and rules and stuff. It's not. It's just another. I just don't think that. I get it. You know the school you're going to, but I know the situation isn't always that. Sometimes you just want your child to go to a good school, or that the choice is limited in your area. I just don't like the fact of a child being penalized. Could have sent a letter home to the parent and let's have a conversation. But to isolate the child, I didn't like that move.
I do understand that.
I think school uniforms should just be standardized. Because if you're going to have uniform to standardize the kids anyway, because that's the whole point of uniform. Right? Yeah. Actually, we don't want to like make rich kids wear Pradas.
Yeah, exactly. That I understand.
Because that's the point. That's one of the arguments that's forwarded all the time. Just standardize it. You have grey trousers, blue trousers, whatever, jumper, iron the badge on. I remember back when I was in school, you could iron the badge on.
Yeah, we had that.
Keep it moving, man.
I think so. But anyway, it annoyed me. But I hear you guys. All right, Russell Brand.
Boy,
stuff's kicking off.
Mate, did you watch it? Did you watch this?
I watched it, you know.
And it's a series, you know.
Is it series?
Yeah,
It's a lot. It's
I
a lot.
swear it's like, isn't that season like episode
I
1?
thought it was just one thing.
Oh, is it
Oh,
a
maybe
serious? I
it's
thought you said it's
one.
serious. I couldn't hear
Okay,
you.
sorry,
Oh.
maybe I got
But
that
that
wrong.
was, I think, did I? Yeah, I finished it. It
Explain
seemed
what it-
quite
explain what
well-rounded
it
about
is.
Yeah.
So they've uncovered, or they've interviewed a series of women who have lots of different types of allegations against him. It's all of the gamut of sexual deviancy and criminality. I don't know. I'm 50-50 on this one. There was his sex addiction, his drugs, going through his career, producers knowing and allowing him to have lots of women around while he was working. It was a mess. It was a mess. So I don't know. And I don't even know what you can do with Russell Brand. Like, what are we expected to do about this? Because he doesn't work for any corporates anymore. Everything is independent. So I'm not too sure what this is all about. But
It's a documentary on Dispatches Channel 4, right?
Yes,
Last
yeah.
night. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if there is an agenda against him, like he says, after I watched it. I'm not sure.
He is the guy to talk about an agenda, though. Of all the people to say there's an agenda against me, it would be Russell Brand.
Yeah.
And apparently, from what I'm seeing and looking into stories, is that he's been slightly erring to the left. I mean, to the right now, where he was like a liberal left anti-establishment
He
type
isn't.
person.
He isn't. When you watch his stuff, he isn't.
He's not
That's
aligning to the
That's
alt-right.
just a news
Yeah.
line.
Okay, 'cause that's what's coming out a
No,
lot.
but he was.
And he endorsed Trump.
And then he moved. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's not like he endorsed Trump. He was more like, I'm not going to go along the same lines as CNN,
Okay.
that he is wholly evil because there's evil on both sides.
Funny that you said that there's evil on both sides. I think that's apt, because I don't think just because he comes out and makes these political statements and has a view on, the royal family and the monarchy and all these things, that he's not capable of the things that he's accused of. So I think,
And that's what people are trying to.
yeah.
I don't know about this, man. That's what I'm
He was the.
I saw the news story, but
Yeah.
I'm still coming out of my trapping pregnancy.
Yeah.
I need to rest.
It's only like, the black auntie one.
Yeah, that one there.
So like,
Yeah,
whereas
yeah,
when
yeah.
it's like Russell Brand, all these, it's not my news.
Yeah.
And
I hear you.
it's breaking now as well. It's
And-
just coming out.
I did feel slightly similar, because I'm like, oh, okay, just another guy that's going to be dragged through. And it is about the establishment covering these things up or allowing these men to flourish in whatever they're doing because they serve a purpose at the time.
Mhm.
It is now that, and now, because it's coming out now, it leaves room for these conspiracy theories. Like, why now? What is Russell's? Is he got power now that they're scared of? Or is it just literally like time is time, and now it's the time to get all these guys out of the way?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, because one of the girls, was it the youngest girl?
The
Who was
16-year-old.
the 16-year-old.
Mm.
This is the thing. He dated her when, allegedly, he dated her when she was 60. He was 30.
Well,
Yeah.
Like, even that, it's too much.
Yeah.
too much.
It's too much. Do you know what I mean? Consensual, non-consensual. Like, obviously, non-consensual is unacceptable.
Mm.
But consensual, it's too much.
Agreed.
Like, what are you doing? Like,
You
I
know-
can't. I just
But
don't
it's the argument that
subscribe.
that's legal.
Because
No, he's saying it's
he's
consensual.
he's
He's just
coming out
basically, yeah, go
and
on.
he's saying that
Everything has been consensual.
he's saying everything's been consensual. Everyone knows that I had a sex addiction. I was very open to the people that I was
He
with.
was though.
Everything
He was
was-
open in public.
He
I
was.
remember
He
that
was
part
open
of
in
it.
talked
public,
about it one time.
but if you
the
listen
thing
to
is called, the title of it is In Plain Sight, which
Yeah.
is very similar to Jimmy
to
Savile.
and I was going to
Do you
say
know
the
what I
same
mean?
thing.
Yeah.
And also, if you look back at some of his sketches, the things that he says is no dissimilar in a way to some shit that Bill Cosby has
Yeah.
said. And it's literally like, in plain sight. I'm
Mhm.
telling you what it is that I'm doing, but I'm going to make it funny. I'm going to say a little joke about it. Jimmy Savile did similar things as
Yeah.
well. It doesn't mean because he says some good things that he is not a sexual deviant. Doesn't mean that.
And
So-
he curried favor with, I definitely know there were a lot of, well, in the time when he was super popular, like in the black spaces, like Russell Brand got a pass. So it's interesting to see how people.
London Hughes came out and she said that they were signed to
Mm.
the same agency, I think it was. And they warned her. They said, stay away from him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And she heard like it was a known.
Didn't that Catherine girl, woman, the Canadian girl, didn't she say something as well?
Oh, that comedian
Oh,
woman.
Yeah,
it's a
I'm pretty sure.
comedian.
Don't quote me, but I'm
Okay.
pretty sure she
I
said
think
something
it's funny because
too.
as you're saying it, it's
Yeah.
kind of like coming back to me.
Yeah.
I would
And
think
so I
his
think-
reputation preceded him
Mm.
from what also London Hughes's tweets, everything that she tweeted was things that I had heard when I used to watch Big Brother's Big Mouth.
Yeah.
Like that. And he has probably spoken about like the sleeping with somebody, hating them afterwards.
Yeah, he's talked about all of that.
Like he has spoken about that. So everything she charted is like, yeah, that would happen. It's not illegal. I don't know.
He's a ropey guy.
Do you know what ropey area?
Do you know what it is?
Guy.
Yeah. If like you don't want it to be non-consensual, right? No one wants this to be true, right? Do you know what I mean? We don't want it to be true, but it's just like the other added bit is the systems almost that he put in place.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? In terms of like getting the girls, using the girls, then throwing away the girls. That system dehumanizes the women that he's, using for those activities. And also the women that are also helping him and do you know what I mean? Just assisting the process and keeping that going as well. And then when they're complaining to management and not being heard, and do you know what I mean? And no one is held responsible. He's not held responsible.
Yeah.
The production company's not held responsible. The TV channel's not held responsible. So then also as well, there is this like kind of, I don't know what it is, like a doubles, but it's just like you're investigating yourself. Dispatches on Channel 4. He worked for Channel 4. You're investigating yourself. Where is the impartiality here? Like I just don't. Do you know what I mean? Like you're all wrong. Like, do you know what I mean?
And it's facilitated.
Yeah, and I think
that has to be
those women need justice. Like, do you know what I mean? They need their, whether it's going to go to court or whatever. But we know the percentages of sexual crimes being reported and convicted is very, very, very low.
And the length of time that it takes those cases to even be heard.
And I think I was going to say that I think the younger one, she came out in 2014 and it was just like kind of came out, or maybe it was someone else someone came out in 2014, said some stuff, and then it was just kind of like swept under the carpet again. Like there's some very powerful organizations at play that don't want these things to come out. And not unfortunately, but Russell, similarly to what's the other Russell that's hiding in Bali at the moment?
Russell Simmons.
Very similar to, they got some similarities going on. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, now I'm enlightened. Now that was my former self. That wasn't me. Like, do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. It's just like, well, who's taking responsibility then?
For your
you know what I mean? So it's just like,
that is true.
You know,
that is done.
I'm just like,
I don't think it's okay. What annoys me the most, it is that dispatches thing, and you're going after Russell Brand, one man. He was facilitated in, I think I counted 4 different production companies, knew, hired him, elevated him, marketed him, and allowed him to do this. And that's lots of people, and he's one man. Now think of all of the shows, if you had a few other people doing similar, that to me is the problem.
The cabal.
Yes. Everybody, but nobody's talking about that. And it's like, okay, so you cancel this man. He's removed now anyway. What about the companies? They're still there. Like the producers, everything else, I think is still there.
That probably is the next line, because even with the Jimmy Savile thing, after it came out about what he did, then there were the investigations. And I'm not saying that they did a good job in all of those, but certain policies have been put into place to stop certain things from happening, especially like with children anyway. A lot of policies
like within the BBC.
Yes.
But then we still had Westwood.
No, I know. I'm not saying that it's perfect.
Allegedly.
You need as said, it's like them investigating themselves and how far they're going to go. It's like the IPCC, is it? Like investigating the police is like,
who are police?
Like, internal affairs. We shall see what happens as this story unfolds.
But it is I don't want to like kind of like he like growing up in that period of time, he was everywhere. He was a staple. And his style was normalized. Do you know what I mean? That's why we're also messed up.
I mean,
all of this stuff was normalized for us.
He could say anything,
and we'd be like,
and he did.
And he did.
And
he was no barriers.
Awful. Hi guys.
You guys like Russell Brand when he was not this deviant?
There was a time when I was a fan, and then after a while, I've been like ill.
Why?
I didn't mind him at the time.
At the time, he made his impact.
I remember he was just huge.
And he was fun. He was a rebel.
I was young. I was just into black culture then. You know, when you like go into like when you're young and you're just like, if it's not black, I'm not into it. And so I kind of knew he was famous in the background, but I wasn't checking his stuff.
Must
I
admit,
watched
He
Big
seemed
Brother's
like-
Big Mouth.
He
Yeah.
seemed like he spoke for the people.
That's
Yeah.
what it was.
That's what
yeah.
it was. Like he wasn't like particularly well spoken.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like I know he used a lot of words, but he weren't
Yeah.
particularly well spoken. He was plain. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he kind of talked about lots of different things and kind of made, I guess, in a sense, like he made every group feel special. Do you know what I
But
mean?
do you think that was a
It's
period
mad.
of time where it was like? Remember, I feel like maybe I'm conflating this, but Russell Brand, Amy Winehouse, Pete Doherty, it was
Yeah,
like
All
yeah.
of that kind of
like they were
Yeah.
like
heroin
indie,
chic
grunge,
culture.
Yeah.
you know, like it was
He
like
came in that,
it
yeah.
was that
It
period.
was like
And
a
there was a
finger up to the establishment.
yeah, he was that guy.
They all might
Yeah.
have been on drugs, but
Yeah,
it was
Yeah,
all
yeah,
about
definitely.
what
But they
it
were
was.
Yeah.
cool, and they liked the black space as well.
Yeah.
because I remember lots of conversations, especially in the Facebook forums. He was like, "Okay, out of all the white men, he's all right." From
Yeah.
black women saying that, not me.
You women are tough.
What do you mean?
Wow.
You aunties.
Sorry.
No, I don't, hold on, wait. Where did you? Wait. I said in
I'm just
forums,
joking, I'm being a joke.
none of us that went left.
I joke.
Aunties in
I
Las Vegas,
personally
produced by
didn't
Fan
like
Studios.
Not fancy.
Yeah,
No,
personally
people did,
didn't
yeah.
like
I
his
joke.
brand of comedy. So
Mm.
he didn't appeal to me.
No,
the only
you
thing,
don't
but I thought it was
comedy,
all right.
It was right. You could tell I worked in a corporate environment. No, I didn't really like it, so it didn't appeal to me. I didn't really pay much attention to him. The only thing that I really probably liked him in was Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I thought it was quite funny.
Do you know what I liked him in?
Is that the film with
Did
P.
he?
Diddy?
Yeah.
Get him to the Greek.
Get him to the Greek.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew
That
it
was
was
funny.
funny.
That was getting to the Greek. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's
think
not
Sarah
right.
Marshall's good too.
Yeah,
He had a moment. He had a moment.
that's it.
Honestly,
I
honestly.
don't know, it's true. You can't be a fan of anyone at all.
At all.
I'm definitely not a fan of his.
You know what's
anyway.
crazy
Yeah.
though? To say all of this, I remember like there was I met a producer, the guy that was producing Russell Brand, and when he was in Hollywood and he had a breakdown and moved back to the UK.
Oh,
yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
But the guy also had a brain tumor, and actually Russell Brand, I think, like was like paying for him to like. Get
He's got those
treatment,
angel
all of that
moments.
stuff.
But
And
don't
so
they
like,
all?
at that time, so I was like, raw, that's mad. Because I
Yeah.
met this man, like he was literally the man was dying. Like
Yeah.
it was a bit of a weird experience actually meeting this man, knowing that this man knew that he was gonna die soon.
Yeah.
And this man was
Mad.
losing the ability to write.
Mm.
So it was dictating stories and like, it was just and he was still trying to produce. I remember he
Oh,
like
serious?
I think he gave me a script or like a treatment that he was trying to make. And I was thinking, well, bro, you can't even remember, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I say
Like,
active.
but anyway, but like, I remember like my last memory of Russell Brand before this whole thing is like him helping that man that was helping him produce at the time. But I just think, you know what? He's probably like, he's like the last remnant of that era. Like there was an era where they either all died or like where is Pete Doherty? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, where is
Yeah.
that? You know, like that, or they've disappeared, or like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so,
Apparently, there's a list though.
There is a list, of
There is
course.
apparently-
Oh,
There's a
a
list,
whole
yeah.
list of people that
Yeah.
they're going to go after.
And there's still one more name that hasn't been mentioned. which
Apparently,
I think.
someone said David Jason. Only,
Yes,
yeah,
I heard it allegedly.
allegedly.
I heard it.
Jason.
Yeah.
Del Boy.
Del Boy.
Apparently.
Apparently, they're waiting for him to pass. And I don't.
What, before they say
Has he
something?
passed? Yeah, he
No.
I thought
passed.
he had passed.
No.
No,
As of now,
sorry,
he passed.
sorry.
can't just be putting that people.
I know.
What's
I
killing
always
people?
think somebody's gone. But
Uncle
I think-
Albert passed and
Yeah.
Granddad.
Yeah,
The viewers are like, who? What?
yeah. His
Yeah,
only
yeah,
feels and
everybody
horses.
even knows.
Go on,
Very,
Sky
very
Gold,
British
darling.
stuff.
Sky Gold.
No, not David
Yes.
Jason.
Apparently-
I'm a fan of.
I'm not.
Serious.
I don't
I
care.
wanted him to be like an uncle. I don't know. And people always, but because I would sell things in school similar to Femi, it's like I was always called Del Boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So I
So
had that like
Oh.
affinity, like wheeler dealer.
All right, Del Boy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It is what it is.
Oh.
All right, guys.
Sorry.
We will move on. Two.
2, 3. Let's
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Aunties know best. Aunties know best. Aunties know best. Digga-digga-digga-da.
why'd you guys have to sing it live? You know, like you can go studio and record it.
We could.
We've been
That would
trying to
invite
get in
us.
the studio for
We're waiting
Went
for someone.
to the
Help
studio
us, help you.
recording something, you know, because then there's auto tune and
Yeah, it might
Yeah.
just be lit. It might
Like
be
jingle,
might be a hit.
music.
We could do
Could
that.
be a hit,
It
innit?
could be, innit?
Thank
I
you.
mean,
Don't
you
know,
went
but
far.
like,
gas
you
them.
went
Don't
far.
backtrack.
Don't
Yeah,
gas
yeah.
You
them,
went far.
please.
Let's do it because
Yeah.
that could
I'm
also be on the
flipping that whole section. He
aunties.
said it might be a hit.
Yeah, it would be a hit.
Might be a hit. You know, like I make tunes. I'm exactly.
Fam, let's talk. Let's talk offline.
Oh my God, don't
serious?
put them in the
Soundtrack.
same.
No, I don't
Yeah.
make beats.
in the
But
same
I put the record
sentence.
together.
Yeah.
So if we
Like,
You see
and
the
aunties in Las
soundtrack
Vegas,
to
we could do the
Trapping.
soundtrack. We definitely do the
I
soundtrack
put-
for
Yeah,
that.
I put
Oh,
it together.
basically Femi just said that he's
Yeah.
going to exec
Bust
produce
us.
aunties with voices.
Yeah.
Nikki makes beats.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know.
come on.
Yeah, man.
Alright, cool.
Slims
Thank
and
you.
Productions.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
I
is
can sing
You're
that.
just offering up Nicky's sessions again.
This is all right, you
2
know.
for 1. Yeah.
We're going places. Thanks, fam. Thank you
Oh
so
my God,
much.
do you see how they've been
Femi?
turning this now?
Thank you.
Slim
We're going to do the Las Vegas, aunties in Las Vegas soundtrack. Definitely. Don't hide. We said it
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
It's on camera. And it's live. Go to the comments. Anyone in the comments?
Oh my God,
Back
this
it,
is all
comments.
right.
It's all live. It's all documented. All right.
It's the Slims and Productions for me.
Yes, well, it's gonna happen. All right, guys. So listen, dear aunties, I'm struggling. I'm not attracted to any guys who like me. As soon as they pay me attention,
This
I
is
get the
me.
ick.
Did you write in?
I
Did
don't
you
know.
write in?
I
Oh,
have to come right
sods.
in, you know. Go
As
on,
soon
what
as they
does
pay
it-
me attention, I get the ick. But when they're unavailable or not showing me interest, that's who I get caught up with.
No,
And they're usually, as you can expect, dickheads. And no, I don't really have any issues that I'm aware of anyway. I get lots of attention. I'm always getting moved to, but I find it boring. They're unoriginal with their approach and say the same tired lines over and over again. And it's not like they're all ugly. I've turned down some good ones. I'm getting older and I do want to settle down. I need help on how to break this nonsense cycle because the guy I'm with is such an arrogant, selfish, uninterested cretin. But here I am still with him
Oh, wow.
when I have about 3 guys promising me the world. What's wrong with me?
Boy.
I think
Babe.
she should do an experiment
Mm.
where she just goes out with the 3 guys and she just indulges them for a little bit of time. Like, just because if you're with the guy that is treating you like nonsense, what's the point? You must be there's some self-hate going on there.
Ooh.
Because the guy hates you and you hate him and you're still there. That's self-hate.
Not
Like,
he
when you
hates
got-
you.
Huh?
He hates you.
No, but he's not treating you well. Like the
Mm.
princess, you know you
Mhm.
should be treated like.
Mhm.
And so I would do an experiment. You don't have to like people to go out with them, you know. Make them spend
Dates,
their money,
yeah.
enjoy it. You know, like
True.
this is why American girls,
They date.
live
They
life.
date.
Yeah, they
I
date.
remember I was years ago, one of my friends, he was like, you know what, in LA, because he was like, oh, I was like, how's LA? I'd never been to LA at this point. Like in LA, you can date anyone. Because American girls, it's just free dinner to them. They don't care.
We weren't raised in a culture of
They're
dating,
like-
though. I'm pissed
They're
off with
like, they
that.
don't care. They'll
Mm.
just date you. Like they'll just go out because it's like actually no one cooks anyway.
Mm.
So like they're just outside
Yeah.
with you and they just gonna eat the food. And also my other friend on our first trip to LA, like Ricky Blue, is like a
Hey,
music
Ricky,
manager.
love Ricky.
Ricky Blue's gone to me. He's gone to me and Nikki like, oh, so you got going to LA? You're like, yeah. He goes, you know what, LA, never have a bad meeting. Like everyone is great. So you could just go on dates and they'll be great, but they hate you. You have to love these men to date them. So I would say to this lady, date all 3 guys that like you. You don't have to commit to them. See what happens. You might find actually, because I've given them a little bit of time, I'm now maybe like this one, and then maybe you go with that one.
That's such a word from Uncle Femi. Thank you.
I think that's great advice.
Great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You need to see what's yonder.
I'm gonna go the opposite there. I think
Oh.
she should take some time for herself. Do you know what I mean? She clearly doesn't know what she wants. She's with someone. It's not working out. She's got options. She's quitting. Do you know what I mean? That's not order. She's got options and she's turning them all down. She clearly doesn't know what she wants. So she might need to take some time out to
but then
figure it
she's not
out.
gonna-
go away by the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
No, you can't live in that world of lack. It doesn't work. Do you know what I
There's
mean?
3 options.
I'd take the
Yeah.
3
options
right
too.
options. One of them must be good. There might be a problem. And the thing is, I think when you've got 3 choices, you're lit. Like
Yeah.
things are good. Like
Yeah, so why wouldn't she have 3 choices afterwards?
no, I'm not saying she won't. I'm saying that right now she recognizes that the 3 choices that she has is better than 1 choice that she has. But she's not engaging with them because she's distracted by the person that she's with.
Mhm.
What's really going on is that the guy that she's with has got her mentally, and he's stopping her from engaging
Mhm.
with the other people. That's all that's really going on.
Really?
And also,
Happiness.
a lot of relationships is out of habit.
Yeah.
Mm. I think she needs to figure herself out.
No, she does. That's a major part of it.
And
but-
without,
I
just
agree
on her
with
own.
you. No,
No
Yeah.
men.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you at the same time.
Because the thing is, it's just like if you're always saying who you are in relation to a man, then you don't know yourself.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean?
But she didn't do that. She said she had choice.
She has
I'm saying
choice.
if
She doesn't know her own
if
mind.
I think she can do once a week dating and find herself in another rest of the week.
You know what?
6 days a week,
one
work
day,
on yourself. One day, go on a date.
Friday, the other day, do
Yeah.
therapy.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
I agree.
I agree with
therapy.
you. Do
I
therapy
think that's
and date.
therapy.
No, I think do therapy
And
and then
date.
one day get them.
Go on a date.
Do you know that? Do you know how much sometimes I wish I was a woman? Do you know how many women I've picked for their food?
Oh,
Like they're just my bridges, they're just out with me. And I'm just like, I've got that. And then sometimes they don't even bring out their purse. Like I have this joke with my brethren. I'm like, girls, like we'll be at dinner. Like me and Nikki will be at dinner. There'll be like 2 or 3 girls with us. Like they are brethren, like not. And then like bill time will come, and no one even bats an eye.
well,
But
that's you set that up.
set a precedent.
No,
You
I'm
set
not
a
saying.
precedent.
It's not a problem. It's not a
No,
problem.
but the point I'm making it, I don't even have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I'm saying like
You
point,
want that
The
treatment.
point I'm making is, you know how lit it must be to be a woman, yeah, to just eat free
That's what I'm
food.
saying.
This
This is what I'm
utopia that you're
saying.
creating out
Is it
here,
not
don't lie.
Guys want to be baddies.
Yeah.
We have
No, I'm-
periods.
do you know I'm
We-
not
And we have
comparing-
babies.
No,
Do you know,
guys
I'm
wanna
not
be
comparing-
baddies.
Menopause.
No, but there's if the only thing that we can rely on is
It's a
that when we go out to eat somewhere, that the guy picks up the bill. That's great.
Do you
That's
know
all we
Because
got.
We are the ones that
This
are
is what I'm
bringing
saying.
humans into the world.
This is what I'm saying. This woman should just go and chop well.
It's true.
Mm.
Enjoy. That's part of the.
I would
yeah.
chop well.
She should.
If I was like 3 guys trying to date me, you're mad.
You're gas. Girl, take it because
I'll be
also that
Monday.
shit does run out.
Listen, I do
Depending.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
That's it.
Break in
Yeah,
between.
yeah,
Yeah, take it. Work on myself in between.
Conversation is good. Conversation is always good.
No, but she weed them out.
Right.
Weed them out.
Right.
Weed them out.
Right.
Weed them out.
It's an experiment. Who cares if the conversation is not good? Just know that. Just order the most expensive thing on the menu. Say like, oh, do you know what? I like to have. Oh, I'm not gonna get a chance to cook for lunch tomorrow. Order something else to take home.
All right.
I'm saying.
Just block him out when he's talking.
Have we got time for one more?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, do you want to go for fat shaming or crushing on a best friend?
Choose.
Yeah, you choose.
You
I don't know.
choose.
Too much pressure.
Just
Okay.
was-
Am I? This is from
Don't
my.
be best friend. Because last time I came on here, someone did best friend.
Oh, is
Is
it?
it?
Yeah,
There's
I think
always
so.
best friends. There's always
Do
best
fat
friends.
shaming.
All right.
Okay.
Basically, every woman, if you're not in a relationship, go out with your best friend. Because actually, at the end of the day, they're your best friend for a reason. If they're good looking,
It doesn't work
and
like that.
do you know what it is?
You mean
know
a
what-
male best friend?
You
will
No, your male best friend.
Yeah.
Like,
If you're that way inclined, anyway.
No, just date your best friend.
No.
Date-
Because
they're
also
trash.
tell the guys
No.
that if you've got a best friend sitting,
No,
why
I
just
agree. I
yeah.
agree. But men are just like, nah, she's fine.
Exactly. So what do you want the girls
What
to
I'm saying,
do?
the point I'm making is the
Yeah.
best
What's
friend
that?
one. Women are always this. Like, do you know what it is? In order to have a successful relationship, marriage, whatever, you actually have to like the person. Like
Yeah.
your best friend.
Yeah.
Like you really do.
Yeah.
And I think a best friend relationship is a solid basis.
That's if
for a
it's there.
relationship.
But what if the
But,
chemistry,
yeah.
the ping pong is not there?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
Okay.
I recommend.
Or
best
set,
friends.
Sometimes-
or set a time limit on it.
sometimes it's
if
not
you
about
the
hit
best friend.
50s and we're both.
Oh, you know
single,
what? I read a
that's still
script. Like, there's this Hollywood script. I really want to do it. I can't even really talk about
Starring
it.
the aunties.
I so want to do it. Yeah, like that. They sent it to me in June. I
Mm.
just got back to them.
I'll read it for you.
yesterday.
Yeah.
I read it. It's lit.
I said, I will read it.
It's so good, and it's like with a good company. I want to work with them. It's basically that they
Yeah.
make a pact.
Yeah.
Mm,
We can start.
I would do that with a best friend if I was single.
I was
obviously,
gonna
not-
say you're actually married.
caveating
She's
everything.
Caveat
fully
if she was,
married.
yeah.
But if I
Family
wasn't,
is.
I know.
It
It doesn't
But
work like that
how
with
you
a best
know
friend.
people,
though.
innit?
It doesn't work like that because
Yeah.
sometimes
Hypotheticals.
there are people that you're just there are opposite sex that you're just best friends and there's
Yeah.
not one bit of kink between
Yeah.
you because and the best friend is just that
I'm
energy.
literally
Just,
thinking of my male best friend, and it's like, no.
Whatever you chop them one day, they chop well.
that could happen. That could also happen. That could also happen. That could also happen.
But you're making me cry.
No, you don't have to.
No, and don't do your PSA
You
face
don't know.
either.
You don't have to do.
No.
Don't have to give anyone a
No.
try.
Sorry,
All right.
Let me get back to you.
All right, this isn't am I the arsehole for telling my friend she'd get fat shamed in my home
I
country.
didn't hear.
Am I the arsehole for telling my friend she'd get fat shamed in my home country? I'm at college in the US as an international student. There's a girl at my college who's interested in studying in my country of origin. However, she's a bit chubby by US standards and is extremely sensitive about people pointing it out. My country tends to have much skinnier people than the US, and the standards seem to be more stringent. So if she's considered chubby in the US, you can imagine what people in my home country would think.
Boy.
My country can be incredibly shallow with physical appearances as well as blunt when talking about them. So it's almost a guarantee that she will be seen as overweight and comments will be made about it. I've seen it happen. So when she asked me about my country and what her experience would be like, I explained the pros and cons. And one of the cons was that there's extreme weight watching and it's considered perfectly socially acceptable to comment on and make jokes at the expense of people's weight. I said this because I wanted her to have this info before deciding to study abroad there. So she doesn't potentially put herself in an upsetting or traumatic experience. But she got offended and said I'm an asshole for implying that she's fat. Am I in the wrong here? I feel like I could have gone about this better, but I do think my intention was good.
No, you're not the asshole. That's like fair. I feel like I know the country.
I don't
What
know
country
the
did you
country.
No, I think it's
I thought it was
Asia.
Sweden.
My first one.
No, it's probably
it's
Asia.
China.
Oh,
Yeah.
I went
I thought
Sweden.
China-
China,
my
you
head-
can lose your job
My
because you're
head
fat.
went
Yeah,
there, and then my
yeah.
head went Sweden.
I think
Yeah.
I saw something recently on socials.
About losing your job in China.
Yeah,
they'll
yeah.
fire
A
you
Because you're
guy,
big.
yeah, a teacher.
Oh, wow.
They
Look at
said
that,
to
a
him,
teacher.
See?
yeah, they said to him,
So,
if you want to be here next semester, please
Lose
back.
some weight.
And then when I think they had treat day and they gave him carrots.
Oh, that's
out of
mean.
order.
Oh, putting it.
It wasn't here. It wasn't.
No, but in fact, wherever it is, that's foul. But then also healthy lifestyle in helping you
Don't
to get
clip
better.
that.
I don't absolutely flipping there. I don't care. No, that's not being an asshole.
I don't think she's
everyone's
being
being
an
an
arsehole.
asshole.
I think
Because
she's
she's
being
She's
sensitive.
sensitive.
She's
Yeah,
sensitive.
she's sensitive.
And the thing is, sometimes the truth hurts. Like
Yeah.
as Nana always says, don't always be a truth teller. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe just leave a link somewhere. You don't have to actually deliver
No,
the
that's
news.
worse.
Send a
No.
text.
No, that's
Send a
worse.
link.
You don't have to
No,
deliver
that's
the news.
worse. That's worse.
We're gonna leave a link lying
asked,
somewhere.
You asked
An
about
open
how it is
laptop.
in my country, yeah, and then your brethren opens the links, and it's just like
So it's
all
if
the
they want
fat
to read
shaming.
it or
Just
not.
leave a laptop
No.
lying
But
around.
I think it was good for her to even attempt to explain.
Yeah.
That shows like, do you know what I mean? Humility and also like tact and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I think that's a good trait to have because she's being honest. But people can't always receive what you're putting out.
Would you guys say like
Yeah,
the bare
absolutely.
bones? They don't like chubby people.
People think I'm mean because I told the truth. Like,
Honestly,
people think I'm like the meanest person.
It's not thanked.
They're just like
they don't like it.
they think I'm so,
It's not fact.
people like Femi is just so direct and abrupt and this and I'm like I'm Nigerian. That's how I was raised.
Oh, wow.
You know, it's
Just-
I just
We
feel comfortable.
Say it like it is. But I just feel like the friend. You could have packaged it better.
They did say that. Well, how do you do it without?
How? She didn't say to.
Just show pictures of people.
Well, like photo shoots. This is what the people look like.
No,
So if she
I
doesn't
think
see,
needs to be frank.
Yeah, these are not.
accepted.
Do you know what I
people.
mean? Because if she goes to the country now and then they're saying, "Oh, fatty boom boom" or whatever, like she's gonna be like, "You never told me that this is what it's like," and then they'll be looking at you. You're damned
She
if
should
you
just let
do,
her
damned
go.
if you
You
don't.
should just go to Jamaica.
Go where you're
Where you're
appreciated.
appreciated.
Black countries
Don't
appreciate
feel
around
you,
this.
woman.
And whereas there's other Asian countries also that really celebrate big women as well. If it is Asia, that's the one that's.
Where?
If it's China, what's the country?
Japan.
No,
Maybe not.
no,
That's
no,
South
no.
Pacific. Sorry,
Yeah.
innit?
So, listen,
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the
okay.
one. Thank you.
go where you appreciate it. No,
Yeah.
where you don't tolerate it.
But we do have to remember as well, like not the whole world thinks like us,
Exactly.
right? Do you know what I mean? Not the whole world is open, not the whole world is accepting of certain things. There's
Yeah.
different rules in different countries, and I think that especially in the Western world, we forget that.
Yeah.
We really do.
So just do. She could.
But still, even when you are in Paris, you don't see big people there. Like when you're in France.
yeah,
so
it's
it
true.
could
I read a
even
whole
be
article about
could
it.
be
It's true.
France as well.
Could be
They've got,
France.
a lot of I think it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
I've read like a whole big article. I can't remember the
Mm.
rationale behind it.
Yeah.
But like French people are very skinny. Like,
Yeah.
French
Mm.
women are like they're basically
Chic,
like
yeah.
the most skinniest women in the world somehow.
Mm-mm.
And they spoke about their diet and how that helps them do that. I can't remember. I'll find it. I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
What are you saying? Why are you gonna send it to us?
No,
And I said thank you.
He's
I also
actually
said
right,
thank you
know.
without thinking. I'm brainwashed.
I think it's how they eat because they
I think
eat
it's how they eat.
vegetables
Yeah.
first, and I think that lowers your
Metabolism?
intake of your sugar spikes. It lowers how you absorb sugar in a certain way. or something
Oh,
like that.
okay,
And
okay.
that's standard for them, where
Yeah.
it's not for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
But I
less
read
carbs in a
something-
meal as well. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there's like just loads of salads and
Yeah, they
Protein.
load
Yeah.
up on,
food
they
is
fill
better
up on
quality
stuff like
than
that.
over here,
Yeah.
definitely. When I went, I
72.
stayed in Paris for a little bit selling. I was probably, this was when I thought I was skinny. I was like a 10, 12. Everybody would always be like the bigger lady.
Oh.
And literally it's like I am considered
Yeah.
the bigger lady. Like I'm skinny now. Like you should have seen me last year. But yeah, no, it's a bit mad. So it could
Well,
be fast.
I just want to squeeze. I don't know. Can we
Oh, so
squeeze?
can I talk about it?
Yeah.
You know what they do?
Oh.
What they
Yeah.
do.
They do lots of water,
Mm.
controlled portions,
Mm.
and moving regularly.
Okay.
Mm.
That's part of their culture.
Okay. So
Okay.
That's
standardly.
like part of their like thing. There was a whole
Mm.
book about it that this woman wrote called French Women Don't Get Fat.
Oh wow.
In the 80s, it's of its time.
Wow.
Taking the piss.
What a
Taking the
style.
piss. But you know, like skinny now, well, it has always been, but it's rising its head again, as in like that is a sign of affluence.
Yeah.
Do you
To
know
be
what I mean?
skinny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skinny is now it equals. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you probably have a luxurious lifestyle because you can spend so much time
Mhm.
on like maintaining it, kind of thing, and it's a signifier of wealth
Mm.
Okay.
and influence.
like
apparently.
the end of the BBL.
Mm.
Yeah, basically.
'Cause-
Going back to 90s chic.
Yeah. Everything's 90s now. Isn't it?
I don't know.
heroin.
Chic. What did they call
Heroin
it?
chic. Heroin chic.
Imagine.
Mm.
Gaunt
That's what
and-
we grew
Yeah.
up on, you know. It's
Yeah. The
crazy.
supermodel that time when.
It's crazy that we're okay.
Are we okay?
Do you know what I mean? Well,
That's what
trying
they
to
say.
be.
Like our generation is crazy, so the kids that are coming through are gonna be absolutely bonkers.
Well, they
Yeah.
are. Love you guys. We gotta go. We gotta finish.
I think we've got.
Can we?
Go on.
All right, cool.
We do
It was
one.
just
No, we gotta go.
we gotta go.
Yes.
You gotta go.
Okay, guys.
Do you remember that? Richard Blackwood
Yeah.
said, "You gotta go. You gotta go."
No.
Singled out.
Singled out. Oh my god. I
Jeez.
had friends that went on that.
Really?
Yeah.
I used to wish I could go on that, but I was a youth.
I was about to say you had to be about 10 or something.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Well, Femi, thank you so much for being here,
Thank you for having me.
as always.
Appreciate you, man.
Different settings every time.
You know,
Yeah.
Keep it
for real,
moving.
for
Every
real.
time. Where are we gonna go next?
It's
Vegas,
baby.
baby.
Thank you, aunties. Thank you guys for watching. Have we got any comments? Any comments that we can?
People are engaging. Nothing that needs to be read out yet.
Okay, fine. Tune in next week to Your Aunties Could Never. We'll be live again next Tuesday. Shoot,
Monday.
lost all
Monday.
time.
It's Monday.
Forget my
It's Monday.
It's Monday. It's
Yes.
Tuesday. Back next Tuesday.
Monday.
Is it Monday?
It's Monday.
Back next Monday. I won't be here. They will be.
Thank
On
you.
Monday.
On Monday. Thank you, Femi. You
On
sign
Monday.
out. Thank you.
Loving it.
That was the sound bites from Femi today. I love it.
Just do my bit. Thanks.
All right,
Thank you, guys. Peace out.
Bye.
Wow, we
Bye.
did the Spice Girls.
Wanna be my love.
Mm.